Expand your outreach with an Accessibility Champions program, presented by Sagar Babaya, AliCamp 2021. We'd like to thank our gold sponsors Telstra and Intopia, our silver sponsors ANZ and Coles, and our bronze sponsor How2.
Hello everyone, how is it going? I hope you all are enjoying Accessibility Camp Australia. I really like the tagline of this conference, where human spirit meets technology. Such a bold and bold statement or a mission to have. Before I really start the presentation, I really want to give a huge shout out to Sarah for giving Intuit an opportunity to present on Accessibility Champions in this conference. About me, my name is Sagar Barbhaya. I lead accessibility engineering at Intuit. My team is mainly focused on making sure the global products that we build at Intuit is built with a universal and inclusive mindset, and also the code that has been rendered is accessible to all our customers with or without disabilities. I did my master's in computer science from RIT. RIT stands for Rochester Institute of Technology. It's in upstate New York, very close to Canada border, and one of the snowiest city in the United States. I also globally co-lead Intuit Abilities Network. This is a network, or we can say an employee resource group, that is focused on disability, and we really want our employees to bring their whole self to work. So we want to remove the stigma that is associated with the mental and the physical health. One of the main charter for the network is to hire people with disabilities. I am also an online chair for the Web for All conference. This is the conference which is by far my favorite conference when it comes to accessibility, because it's a real blend of accessibility passion and lots of research. It's quite technical, but I would highly recommend that if you are someone who is an accessibility enthusiast, please make sure to attend the Web for All conference. This is going to be in April 2022. It's also going to be virtual and in person. In person, it would be in Lyon, France. My Twitter handle is Sagar_Barbhaya, and I am a huge traveler, and I like to click some pictures, so my Instagram handle is travel.capture.inspire. Before I start the presentation, I really want to make sure to convey this. On the screen you are seeing there are two QR codes and two bit.ly links. The one link is for Intuit's Accessibility Champion level. This Intuit has made their Accessibility Champion program open to public, so you can quickly adapt our processes by following the links that we have provided. The second link is expanding outreach with an Accessibility Champion program. This is the presentation that we gave in CSUN conference in 2019, just after we kicked off the Champions program. So you can go and take a look at this links. So what's going to be today's agenda? I'll be talking about what is an Accessibility Champion program, how and why we started the Accessibility Champion program, what are some of the statistics and diversities of Accessibility Champions at Intuit, and what are the steps that you need to do for becoming a level 1, level 2 or level 3 champion, and some of the lessons learned while we were implementing or after implementing the Champions program. Before I start this presentation in a real sense, I really want to say, what does a champion mean? Like a person who fights or argues for a cause or on behalf of someone else. This is the definition that I got it from the Google, and I try to decipher it when it comes to putting this definition into a sense, like what exactly or who would be our audience when we talk about accessibility champions. So I'm deciphering this definition. Again, the definition was a person who fights or argues for a cause or on behalf of someone else. So in this definition, person is designers, product managers, or engineers. Fights and slash argues, that means they are fighting for the best practices for accessibility on someone else, that means on behalf of accessibility team. And that's the reason why we started this champions program, because we really wanted to build an army of accessibility enthusiasts, or we can say accessibility fighters. Finally, like this is the quote that when we were having this discussion, I want to make this clear that like when we started this program, we reached out to BBC because BBC already had an accessibility champions program which was a huge success, and we wanted to learn from them how was their experience. And this is the quote that I really resonate with. That was by Jamie Knights, who is a senior accessibility specialist at BBC Future Media. So he said, finally, champions are part of the project. They have empathy. They are the implementers. And so they have the best understanding of the project and its goal. The champion model is refocusing accessibility on making the doing better rather than making what has already been done. What are some of the reasons that we started this champions program? Like our reason to start an accessibility champion program was accessibility at Intuit have been running for over 7 years. And what we had done was we made some really good progress. We had a lots of resources like checklist for designers, engineers, product managers, etc. And we had a lot of people that knew about accessibility, but we could not point to them. We could not really highlight them. We could not say that this is a person that should be treated as a leader, because we did not have any formality around it. We also, had a guru status where people would say Ted Drake, who is a global accessibility leader and also a co-founder of Accessibility Champions program at Intuit. People would say, Ted, he is an accessibility guru. Ted Drake, but now imagine Ted gets hit by a bus. What happens now? Thus, when we started the Accessibility Champion program, we had just a few really key points that we wanted to do. We wanted everyone to have a basic knowledge of accessibility. When I say basic, I really mean like a basic. We did not want this to be a heavy lift or overwhelm our employees. Just get people to understand what disability etiquette is and like show them a 5-minute introduction on into inclusive design. From the CEO to designers, to engineers, to PMs like product managers or intern or someone who is working at the IT desk, to have just a basic level of understanding or the knowledge on what accessibility is. We also wanted to create a career path for people because there were a lot of people that wanted to become a leader. They wanted to work on accessibility 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. But there was really no way of doing that. So we wanted to create a ladder so that someone could join accessibility, take the Accessibility Champion program, become a level 1 champion, and then become a level 2 as they learn more about accessibility, and eventually become a subject matter expert or like a leader by becoming a level 3 champion. Also, by having a championship program, everybody talks about accessibility. So we are able to shift left. We are able to now get those designers to talk about accessibility and put it into their designs to get the engineers to test, because they have the tools in their browser. They are testing before they publish. Lots and lots of products are moving to an accessibility first mindset, where engineers don't get the designs from the designer until all of that has been figured out first. So these are some of the reasons that we started the Champions program. And very frankly, when we started the Champion program, we thought that we would be getting like 50 to 60 champions, but the current status for the champions is that we are more than 1,000 champions. So we have around like 1,069 champions. So these are some of the accessibility champions metrics. We are currently at like 1004 level 1 champions, and when I said 1069, that means every Friday Ted Drake will assign a champion with their badge, the non-monetary spotlight award that we have at Intuit. So there are currently like 65 champions lined up to become a champion level 1 on Friday, which is like 2 days from now. There are 22 level 2 champions and there are 4 level 3 champions. What are some of the things that we ask to do when you want to become a level 1 champion? First, attend an accessibility bootcamp / training. So accessibility team has been doing an amazing job, like giving lots of trainings, making people aware of what accessibility is, right from designers, PMs, engineers. So when any new employee who would join Intuit, they would be going through the series of bootcamps, and the bootcamp would last for like 2 weeks, and accessibility team would have 45 minutes to present on the topic, the accessibility. So like this is the reason why we really wanted to make sure that anytime any new employee who joins Intuit, they should know what the culture at Intuit is, like how much we care about accessibility. Then we ask them to configure their Mac or Windows to work with VoiceOver screen readers respectively. We ask them to set up the keyboard accessibility so that if they are testing their apps, they should be able to test with using the keyboard. We ask them to add some of the plugins that we have for the browsers, like X plugin by DQ, Star plugin. We ask them to audit their product. So like no matter what product they are working on, they would be using the plugins that they installed. They would be auditing that product and they would be adding a screenshot, just saying that they have added the plugin and this is how the screenshot looks like. And we ask them to write a commitment statement. So this commitment statement is really like why you want to become a champion. What impact do you want to make after you become a champion? And then we ask them to join Slack channel. We have like multiple Slack channels like community-accessibility, where we keep sharing about internal and external accessibility world, like what's happening in an accessibility world. And we also ask them to watch disability etiquette video, which is from Department of Labor, Washington, DC. I'll be showing you this video right now.
Good morning, Bob.
Morning there, big man. Morning, Alice!
There's no need to be awkward.
Poor Bob. Like so many of us, he just doesn't know how to interact with people with disabilities.
It's pretty easy, really. People with disabilities are people first.
We need the same things that every person needs, like respect.
Good morning, everyone.
Attention! Okay. Maybe we need to be more specific.
The easiest way to show respect is to focus on the person, not the disability. It's okay. You'll get the hang of it.
One easy way to focus on the person is to watch the person signing and not their interpreter.
Or their companion.
It's really cool that you'd like to help, but do us both a favor and please ask me first. What you think might be helping?
I got you.
Wait, ah! Oh no, might actually not.
If you'd like to offer me help, let me hold on to your elbow. Don't take mine.
Hey, would you like to take my arm?
Sure.
Assistive devices help us to live our lives. They're really important and really personal.
Grabbing them only makes it weird for everyone.
What?
Please only touch our devices and service animals if we've given you permission. And don't take it personally if I ask you not to. Remember that my service animal helps me all the time. Neither of us would like it if we were separated.
Remember, we make our own decisions. We sign documents, vote, volunteer, work, and pay taxes.
We get married.
So don't underestimate me just because I have a great smile.
Just because I'm blind
May I help you?
does not mean I'm deaf.
No, I think he said he was gonna come. Just because I'm deaf doesn't mean I'm blind.
And just because I use a wheelchair doesn't mean that I can't sweep you off your feet.
So take a deep breath. Relax. We don't bite.
Unless we're really hungry.
Hello there, ladies. How are you?
Hello. And if you're not sure what to do, just ask.
Hi. Would you still like to see a menu?
No thanks, but can you please read it to me?
Sure, definitely.
Just treat us the way you would want to be treated, and we'll all be okay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Alice.
Morning.
Awkward no more. Nice job, Bob. Go forth and be human.
There's no need to be awkward.
Level 2 champions. So when you want to become a level 2 champion, you need to make sure that you are having a good education and the customer engagement. You take accessibility introduction, engineering, and PMXD virtual training programs, which is within the Intuit Learning Network. Volunteer with some disability organizations. So we have this concept of We Care and Give Back. That's one of the core principle at Intuit, where we get like around 32 hours of paid time off, where we can go and partner with any organization to do a charity stuff. So we ask them to volunteer with disability organization. Take a follow me home with a customer who have a disability. Follow me home is basically a concept where you would interview a customer and you would see a customer interacting with the products, like and interviewing the customer, like what are the problems the customers are having. Then create a closed captioning for a video. We also ask them to create an audio description for a video, because these are some of the things when you are doing it, you are getting more empathy and compassion on why you want to build an accessible product and inclusive product. And some of the seizing representation opportunities is key for this level. So that means that present in the CSUN conference. CSUN stands for California State University Northridge, or present in some of the meetups, what you learn about accessibility. Because we really want to make sure that our level 2 champions has quite a bit of journey from becoming a level 1 and then level 2. And these are some of the steps that will help them gain more empathy. Level 3 champions, which is a subject matter expert, like oftentimes we ask candidate to discuss the progress with the manager, deliver a brown bag to the team. Like this is one of the main things that we also want our level 3 champions to do, is make sure that they deliver a brown bag session. Brown bag session is basically like a lunch session where everyone will bring their own lunch and just learn and share. Conduct user interviews. Again, the same thing that we saw in the second level 2 champion, the follow me home session. Conduct some customer interviews. Conduct a volunteering activity for your team. That would be again partnering with a disability organization, and join the local accessibility networks. So that is the employee resource group which we have into Abilities Network. So we started our journey by thinking that we would be having around like 50 or 60 champions, but we got so much overwhelmed by seeing the numbers, because we did not anticipate it, and that was a good problem to have. So because of that problem, we did not really think about the engagement. Like, what kind of activities would you want to make to a level 1 champion so that their commitment still remains the same? They are still working on accessibility. And the solution for some of the ways to keep our champions engaged was, we started with this No Mouse Monday, where we will ping every Monday on the Slack channel that we have created, community of accessibility champions. We would say, hey everyone, for half an hour or for 1 hour, do not use mouse. Let's see how's your day looks like without using mouse, because if they are not using mouse, they would be forced to use keyboard, and that means that they would be forced to think about keyboard accessibility when they are implementing their code or when they are redesigning their designs. We do have Global Engineering Days at Intuit, which is which happens like twice a year. It's like a 5 days of hackathon where you are allowed to work anything that you are more passionate for, which is outside your like job scope. And we have seen a good amount of participation in the accessibility projects within the level 1 community, because usually it happens that there are some engineers who are working in the back end, but they also care about accessibility and they want to work on the front end technologies, making sure that their app is accessible. This is the best time that they work on. Another opportunities, like as I mentioned, We Care and Give Back volunteering opportunity. That is again in the last week of July. We have a We Care and Give Back week, where we can invite lots of organizations which is focused on disability, and we can ask them to volunteer. There are some internal learning pathways, like within the Intuit Learning Network, we have like accessibility study materials, like accessibility for engineers, accessibility for product managers, and we ask them to go through it, and once they have completed that, we kind of give them a spotlight award, which is again kind of like a motivation and encouraging point. Do a fireside chat with customers, like invite your customers and just have a fireside chat with them so that you can again learn more and think from a customer lens. And some of the employee resource group, like lead employee resource group or join and become a part of employee resource group. So with that, I really want to thank everyone to listening to my presentation. And since this was only for 20 minutes, I have kept it very short. But if you or your company is looking to implement an Accessibility Champions program, feel free to message me on LinkedIn. I would be more than happy to help you help you implement this like Champions program at your company, and also share some of the lessons that we learned while we were implementing this program. With that, thank you very much again for listening to me, and hope you all enjoy the next few sessions. Thank you so much.
AliCamp 2021